Hello, Star Citizens. This is Lando speaking. We are going to do a really quick hop into the persistent universe just to kind of show new players this is how you do the character creation, and this is also how you enter the game and where you will be when you first enter the game. This will be a series of videos just kind of showing people part by part, a little bit of how to do things in the game. So here we have our character creator screen. All right, you pick what you would like to be, and then it will give you this, right? And then you can scroll through which face you want. More faces will be added later. For now, we're just gonna pick one. Ooh, different choices. Some of these look really weird. All right, no offense. When you hit begin blending, so this is a different type of process, and by the time you watch this might have all changed because there is a new character creator coming in, so we'll see. But for now, this is what we got. It's kind of weird. You cycle through this face and then it mixes it with this face. So you pick another face over here that you like, right? Let's just pick this one, and then we will do, how much do you want this face to look like the other one? Either completely like the other one or kind of half and half. All right, we'll do half and half. All right, and then we'll go to apply skin. All right, and then if you want to change your skin color, like if I wanted a darker skin color, I could do here, and then it'll just change the skin. But it also gives you like some of the moles and stuff, right? Yeah, you get whatever their skin texture is, you get that as well. So just be aware of that. So I'll go here. And then brows, of course, you can change these, right? So you take the brows from whichever character is here, right? And then you move this bar to select how much you want the brows to look like, how much you want the brows over here to look like the brows over here. Because what it does is it mixes what's happening over here with what's already here. So you can see them change as I move the bar. You can see that little change as I move the bar up and down. All right, we'll just take a little bit of the brows, not too much. Eyes, of course, we're really just worried about the color. Unless you want to change, of course, the size and things like that, then you can move them. And this is very unique and very different, because then it means nobody is really going to create the same character, because you have to mix two faces together, and after you mix it, in order for you to get the same character, you'd all would have to choose the same amount of drag on this bar from looking like the other face to not looking like the other face at all. It's a really unique way to create a character, and I do like it. I just think they need a few more directions on the screen. I like the darker eye color, so none of this will really matter as much, because you will definitely be putting on a spacesuit. You'll have your helmet, not to mention if you're playing in third person, you'll only see the back of the head for the most part. So this really only matters for cutscenes. There's not that many cutscenes in game right now as of 3.22. Take it with a grain of salt, but it's still your character, so I don't really care about ears, so I'm going to skip ears, but same process applies. You can move it however much you want. Same thing with cheeks. I want those to stay the same. Same thing. Go to mouth. Mouth is fine. Jaw. Let's see what the change looks like. Oh, Rizzy. Okay, let's take a little bit of the jaw, not too much, because that's too much jaw. Let's go here with it. Then crown. I don't know what that's gonna change. Oh, less big of the head. Yeah, let's shrink that head a little bit. It is kind of massive. And then hair. Beards are coming in game soon, so I don't know when that's gonna happen, but hopefully very soon, because these faces be looking bare. So I'm gonna go with black hair, just because I want a more realistic character, but of course, do whatever you want. I like bald, but we'll see. They just added some new hair physics in, so ooh, fancy. Ooh, look at the flow. Look at that. What? Just let your soul glow. Okay, enough singing. Ooh, I like these new hairstyles. None of them match my character. This is the most realistic hairstyle I can get for my character at the moment, because all those other ones look like the hair does not fit my character. But CIG knows about it. They've already fixed it. If you go watch CitizenCon 2023, they've already shown that they're going to have dreads and regular hair, different hair types for different people. So I'm not too worried about it. They already know about it. They're tracking it, and they've already fixed it. We just got to wait for it to come in game. It's not a complaint so much as it's just like, hurry up. All right. So that's pretty much my character. Like I said, a pretty unique way of putting your character together. In the future, we'll be able to change body type and things like that. But right now, guy looks pretty ripped. You know, he's doing all right. You know, not too shabby. Let's hop into game real quick just so you see what the first parts of the game are. So now, I do suggest that you play this tutorial if you need that help. If it's your first time playing the game, please do the tutorial. If you don't want to do like a physicalized tutorial, if I don't have one in my other playlist, then find a tutorial online. I know Space Tomato does a really great one. Morphologist does a really great one. There's plenty of places where you can go to get a tutorial. If you're not going to watch my series, I definitely suggest those other two, Space Tomato and Morphologist. They make great content. Go check those guys out. Like and subscribe those guys. And like and subscribe here. I'm going to skip this tutorial for now. Continue watching here, and then there's also going to be follow-up videos to this one with more explanations of how to do things, but I'm going to do them in part. There's two games. Remember, there's Squadron 42 and there's Star Citizen. So Squadron 42 is a single-player campaign type game. If you think Call of Duty, it would not be the multiplayer game. It would be the campaign, right? And this is the persistent universe. So Star Citizen is separate. It's the multiplayer game if you're thinking Call of Duty style, right? And this is simply like a universe where you can pretty much do whatever you want to do as within the limits of what they have available in the game. But if you want to farm, you can farm. If you want to mine, you can mine. If you want to salvage wrecked vehicles, you can salvage wrecked vehicles. If you don't want to do any of that and you just want to shoot people with your spaceship, you can do that. If you want to not shoot people in a spaceship and just fly to places and shoot people in first person shooter mode or in third person shooter mode, you can do that. It's really what brought me to the game, is the ability to do all of the things. We are always going to select the Stanton system, at least until another system comes into game. With the next one that's going to be available is Pyro, but right now this is your only option. And then you select your location. So each one of these locations has things that are great about them and things that are terrible about them, right? So I don't particularly like Area 18 because when you go to land, it's very difficult to determine where you're supposed to land at least as of 3.22. So what I'm going to select is Orison because I just like the way Orison looks, but New Babbage and Lorville are both great places to select as well, but I would suggest if you're just starting out in the game, go with New Babbage. I would just go with Orison. Orison is a nice location to go, of course. The best thing to do if you're having issues playing the game is to select Best, but I'm not having issues at this time, so I'm going to select USA. All right, and of course, there's the EU, Australia, and Asia, depending on where you play. All right, let's hop in game. It's going to load Orison. So I'll skip this part. We'll go to 4X. We have arrived in the persistent universe. I will just hop out of bed here. As you can see, we have our context controls over to the right. So what you do is it'll tell you what the buttons are on the right, but you'll hold F. And when you hold F, it's kind of your inner thought. It's kind of like, what do you want to do relevant to where you are and what you're currently doing? So right now I'm laying down. So it's asking me, do I want to get up? And then of course you can scroll wheel to zoom in. Okay. So while we're laying down, it's asking me if I want to use a med pen or what else do I want to do. Okay. So I'm just going to get up. All right. And standard controls for looking around and stuff. You use your mouse to look around. And then, of course, you walk forward and back. WASD. And that's the basic controls. There's one thing that you might notice. Sometimes when you start out, you'll be walking very slow like this. If you're walking slow, scroll your mouse wheel up and that will make you run a lot faster. Okay. So another thing, and I'm going to go into the menu here just so you can kind of see where the options are. All right. Press escape to enter the menu. You go to options. And then here you can change all of your game settings. There are a lot of game settings, okay? I'm not gonna go through all the game settings, just kind of showing you what you can go through and change here. Of course, your audio settings, your controls. Now, this is a key one here. If you go to your controls, if you go to inversion settings, remember where these are, because sometimes you're going to, especially if you're using joysticks, or if you're doing something and it feels like it's going the opposite way it should, come into your inversion settings, figure out whether it's something that's happening while you're on foot, whether you're in flight, whether it's turrets, any vehicle, whatever it is, and then go in and you can change the pitch and yaw of what each particular thing is. And then also you can change your mouse sensitivity and things like that. Well, we'll skip key bindings for now and go to this one. So if you are using faceware, which is a specific type of camera you can get, and it'll actually show your face moving while you play the game. And of course they do have versions of it that you can use with other. So like I have a Logitech Brio here, so it allows me to also do faceware, right? And I can do all of these different options. Just pick your frames per second and everything that you want to do. And then there's also head tracking that it can do. Mine is not currently set up. And then there's also eye tracking that you can do with the Tobii eye tracker if you have one of those. It can detect your face. It can, like in the expressions and your mouth moving. It can detect your head, whether you're looking left, right, up, down, or diagonally. And it can also detect your eyes, as in where your eyes are looking. So not only where your head is pointing, but where your eyes are looking, if you have all three of those things. If you just have the faceware, it's probably only going to do the head tracking, emotions, or whatever you show on your face. But if you also have the Tobii eye tracker, then it can track the eyes. And last but not least, let's go to our key bindings. So this is how to do everything in the game. This is how it's set up when you start the game. Okay? When you start the game, you can come through here and you can see how to do every single little thing. Like I said, you should be going through a tutorial anyway. This will come to you as you play through the tutorial or as you watch the tutorial. And just remember, if you go down here, you got keyboard, mouse, you have gamepad, and then you have your joystick. So there's different controls for each one of those. So remember that you need to select that to change the controls, okay? Then if you go here, this is for what mode you want to change the controls on. So there are, these keys are contextual. That means whichever one you click on, if I click on foot, if I press J while I'm on foot, it does weapon customize, as you can see here. But if I press J while I'm in flight, it does decoy, noise, and jettison cargo. Okay? Well, jettison cargo is an M1. That's the M1 just means modifier. It tells you what they all mean down here. Okay? It tells you what all those things mean down here. The little M1 and M3. Okay? It tells you what those mean down here. Just letting you know that these things are contextual. And they are contextual for everything. So if I switch to gamepad, this also has flight versus on foot. Okay? So everything is contextual. But what you'll spend the most time doing is you'll go to advanced control customization and you'll hit these little plus signs, and then you can pick exactly what you want each one of these to be. Once you create it, once you've changed all of these things, right? And I'll go through one just so you can see how to change it, right? So the self-destruct is backspace. I'm going to change it to slash. All right? Now, I'm going to change it back, but as you can see, when that little button pops up, you have to press the button that you want it to be. So I'll change it back to backspace. This is going to tell you the input is already being used by other things that you've set up. This button is not only for self-destruct, but if I'm on foot, it'll show the emote threaten. It'll have on foot all. You see where it says regen? That's how you regenerate if you're incapacitated, meaning you're about to die, but you're not dead yet. And then it'll also be your force respawn button when you're in EVA and on foot. That's okay. I'm okay with this button being used for multiple things because remember, as I told you, there's on foot use and then there's flight use. So I'll hit yes here. Okay. So I've changed something. Then what I can do here is I can go to control profiles. And these are the old saved controller profiles that I have. Okay. They all loaded up once the new version of the game came out. And then there's all these other ones that come standard when you purchase the game. These are already inside the system. So I would tell everyone, go in here, change them to what you like, practice with it, and then go to save control settings, and then you can name it. It's a little weird here, right? So when every time you hit that button to save your control settings, you'll have to name it. Even if you already have one and all you want to do is save one thing that you changed to that same profile. So I would suggest naming it the same thing every single time. Now, hopefully CIG improves this to where you can just select a profile and save over it. But right now you have to just name it the same thing. So I'm actually going to not save this one, but I can point to one that I've saved multiple times. So I like to use dates for mine because that makes it simple. It tells me when I last changed it, and I changed this one on November 28th, 2023. And then what it allows me to do is I can remember the last date that I changed it, and I can also, and then I keep multiples of these just in case I want to revert back to something else. And there's a way that you can go and delete these out of here. If you go into your user folder, there's videos online of how to do that. I might upload one, so make sure you like and subscribe in case I upload one of those. But yes, that is how you change your buttons for the keyboard and mouse. Now remember, if I click here, now I'm changing buttons for the gamepad. I have to do the same thing. I have to save controls. If you change anything, so if you change it for the keyboard and mouse, you have to save. Then if you change it for the gamepad, you have to save. And if you change it for the joystick and HOTAS, you have to save. You have to come in here each time you change something and save it that same way. You will not overwrite your other ones if you save it with the same name. In fact, that's best because then when you load the control profile, it'll load your keyboard, it'll load your gamepad, and it'll load your joystick and HOTAS. So let me show you how that works. So if I go in here to load, right, it'll come up with this screen and it'll say importing changes will overwrite your existing profile. Perfect, that's what I want. So I'll choose my keyboard, I'll choose my mouse, and I'll choose both of my joysticks. And then I'll hit load. And as you can see, it'll change everything in here. Joystick HOTAS. So this is the big one in here, right? So this is my second joystick and this is my first joystick. It changed everything in here, okay? And it loaded it for everything, including my mouse, okay? Because I selected each one of those things from that drop-down box. And that's pretty much how you change your controls in Star Citizen. One more thing before I end the video. I want to make sure you understand how to log out of the game. This is not your standard game where you just go exit to menu or quit game. This is not how you do this. In this game, you log out by going to a bed if you want to save your progress. If you don't log out while you're in a bed, you cannot save your progress. So because I just started, I don't particularly mind not being able to save my progress. But the way that you would do it, you would go lie down. You get into the bed. And then when you go here, instead of just saying get up, you'll have the option to save. It'll be red and it'll say bed log out or log out in the bed. And then you just click that instead of hitting get up. And then you will log out of the game automatically. And then when you restart the game, you'll be exactly where you left off. One of the caveats to doing that, make sure when you log off, which normally will be in your ship, make sure when you log off that your ship is in a safe location, and make sure that nothing around you that's going to interfere with your ability to remain in the game, because your ship may stay in game up to 10 minutes after you log out. So you definitely do not want to log out in a dangerous area and expect that everything's going to be the same when you come back. Because what will happen is you'll log back in and you'll start the game up and you'll be in the hospital recovering, and all the things in your ship will be lost, and you'll be like, what happened? Well, what happened was you logged out and then somebody blew up your ship because you were in a dangerous area. So make sure you're in a safe area when you exit the game. I'm in a safe area, so I can exit the game. If you don't see the log out option, then that means you're not in a bed that has log out capability. So most of that time you're going to have to log out from a bed inside your ship. Okay, there are other locations, but you can log out from the bed in your ship. That's the best place to do it. Just make sure you're in a safe place. Another last thing is make sure If you don't like this global chat, it's just F12 and it's gone. Stay tuned for the next video, and then we'll go through some of the controls that you can use in the game to kind of move around a little bit. And, you know, we'll go through how to get your ship, how to exit, and then I'll take you to a different planet and just show you what it's like to go from one planet to the next planet. In follow-up videos, we'll go through how to mine, how to do salvage gameplay, and things like that. All right, that's it for this one. See you in the next one. Peace.